Hello and welcome. I am Dr. Anil Joshi. Welcomes you to my series Iconological and Temple Architectural Perspectives. Today's topic is extremely important and also interesting. We are going to visit Pattadakal. We are going to have in detail all aspects of the temples over there. There are multiple temples, maybe around 8 or 9. Some of them are Hindu temples, some of them are Jain temples. Today's topic, we are going to concentrate on the Sangmeshwara temple, is going to be very interesting because it is second largest temple in this complex. Now the development of temple has taken place in years. However, still how they could manage it? Because the dynasties have changed. However, the development of temples have never stopped. They have no dynasty has destroyed the work of the earlier dynasty, and that's why it kept on getting better and better. At many inscriptions, so also at many places, archaeology department has found that there are evidences of construction being done for many years. So today's topic, let's get to the Sangmeshwara temple, Pattadakal, and we are going to see the details of it. First theoretically, and then we are going to have a photo of them, and then at end we are going to have a video which is going to be very interesting. Hello and welcome. To know why Pattadakal is important, there are two things. One thing is when it was formed, at what stage of temple construction this place Pattadakal came into existence. And why of all the places they have selected Pattadakal as the place for such a huge, gigantic, marvelous, beautiful temples. Now we'll know step by step one and another. The name Pattadakal means it has come from the word Pattabhishek. Now what is Pattabhishek? Is the crowning ceremony of the king. So crowning ceremony of any king has to be in a best possible place. It has to be auspicious place. Now how Pattadakal becomes a auspicious place? Because the river Malaprabha, though usually it flows in south direction, but once it comes near the Pattadakal, it takes a turn and starts going towards the north direction. And this particular sign they take as the auspicious. That's why for crowning ceremony of any king, for any auspicious occasion, they have selected Pattadakal. Now second is its chronology. Pattadakal has come after many experimentation at IIHOLI. IIHOLI was considered as a laboratory. Now after the experimentation of laboratory in IIHOLI, they started implementing in Pattadakal. Now all temple development, right from the rock cut till such gigantic constructions, beautiful constructions, you can see in this area, particularly Badami, IIHOLI and Pattadakal, and all were by Chalukyas. Now after certain days, Chalukyas they lost Rashtrakutas. However, in spite of that, the development of beautiful temples did not stop. It kept on happening more and more. Now once we enter this UNESCO protected area or premises, we can stand at one place and observe that there are multiple temples. Now how to identify a beauty and chronology as far as time is concerned, I'll tell you. From here we can see three types of shikharas or vimanas. Shikharas is a North Indian word and vimana is South Indian. Now why we have both? Because from here you can see both types of temples, South Indian as well as North Indian. South Indian are called as Nagaras and South Indian are called as Dravidian style. So both are seen here, and that's another beauty of this place. Now once we stand at the entrance, we see Kadasiddheshwar, then Jambulingeshwar and Kashi Vishweshwar as the smaller shrines. Smaller in the sense as compared to the other one, but if we really consider them, they are beautiful and adequately large. Now the There are two Dravidian style of Vimanas now called, we should call here, are seen from here. They are Sangmeshwara and Virupaksha. These are the two South Indian typical Dravidian style temples, and the most important thing, Virupaksha temple was constructed in honor of king when he had a victory over Pallavas by his queen. So a gift by a wife to the husband, or a victorious husband, let us call it. Here is a good victory. Now let us come to the combined type of Dravidian as well as North Indian, that is Nagara type. They can also be called as Rekha Nagara. We have seen in details why it is, and we are going to also see when we will see the individual temple. Here we are going to have just a overview. Now similar temples of Rekha Nagara type you can appreciate in Jagannath Puri and Konark Surya temple. So they resemble that. As we have seen that there was a good exchange of architecture between north and south, and we have got lot of combinations. And typical Dravidian are Sangmeshwara and Virupaksha. Then they have given a typical name for all these combinations. Maybe because Chalukyas had done it, maybe because at the time of Chalukyas it was done, so it was just named as Chalukyas or Chalukyan type of temple architecture. Now here also we can see many inscriptions. Now speciality of all this is they are donated not only by the queen, not only constructed by the king, but even a common man has contributed for this. And the great part of king is he has mentioned their names, and also the names of the artist is also written over there. Now once the temple, once upon a time considered as the center for the religious rituals, subsequently all social functions start taking place in the temples. As we have seen just now, a coronation ceremony of king, or maybe some celebrations of particular auspicious days of a year, or what they call as the particular god has got particular days on which it is worshipped by enlarged people. So also they are used for the other cultural activities. So that we are saying a typical presentation is the Ladkhan temple, which was initially as a town hall or a village assembly hall, which was subsequently converted into the temples. Now we have seen all in detail why we are calling this, why a structure resembling like wooden structure is seen at Ladkhan temple. So also many architectural wonders we are seeing here. Now with this brief, we are going to see now each and every temple individually. So let's get going to the individual temple. Let's get going with the Sangmeshwara temple. This temple was built in 720 CE by Vijayaditya, and originally it was named as a Vijayeshwara temple. The Garbhagriha typically houses a lingam, that is indicating that it's a Shiva temple, and there are additionally sub-shrines on either side of Antarala. What is Antarala? It is a vestibule and it connects the Garbhagriha to Sabhagriha. So there are two additional shrines here. The east of the mandapam, an image of bull Nandi has to be there. If it is Shiva temple, then the Nandi is supported by a small plinth, so small platform you can say. The temple itself is built on a high plinth consisting of 5 moldings decorated with animals and floral motifs. This is very typical of the North Indian temples, but they have adapted this style in South India also. As we have seen, the IIHOli was a laboratory. Lot of experimentations were going on, and Pattadakal is outcome of it. So whatever was researched there, whatever was discovered, whatever was modified was applied here. So you will find all sorts of combination here. On the temple wall, niches bearing sculptures of different avatars of Vishnu and Shiva alternate with beautifully designed windows are there. Below Kapota, a row of wonderful carved round bodies figure are placed as if the whole load of the roof is being borne by them. So similarly, you will see at Khidrapur also that there are Gajarud deities, that is the elephant with the gods, and you will get a feeling that the full temple, weight of full temple is borne by these strong elephants. That elephants indicate strength. Here also you will find a similar fact. Then Shikhara is two-tiered and topped by a four-sided Amalaka and Kalasha. Amalaka and Kalasha are usually with each other. Now Amalika can be with Kalasha or it can be with Stupi. That depends whether the temple is designed in South Indian or North Indian style. This is we are finding as a combination of it. Both styles are incorporated. Then Pattadakal in Karnataka represents a high point of architecture, particularly of the temples. There are a lot of experimentation at Pattadakal and also at IIHOLI. IIHOLI was considered as a laboratory, and here you will find all sorts of designs are there. Though many of them or most of them are Hindu, you will also find Jain temples here indicating all religions were respected. One masterpiece from group stands out, the temple of Virupaksha. We have made a separate video. Do look at it. It was at 740 CE and that was by a queen, Lokamahadevi, and she has donated it to her victorious husband. We have seen a lot of kings giving presentation to their wives, but a queen giving presentations are seen at Pattadakal. Really a masterpieces and really a good tradition. The temple has historical significance as one of the oldest temple in India. That is one, but as well as the adaptation of the structural changes, that is also important. Though the temple is around 730 and the structural temple started at Badami, we have seen it was much earlier than this, and it was done by a Chalukya king by name Vijayaditya, and after that also he started work, the temple was continued. It stands between Virupaksha and Gadganatha temple, that is we are talking of the temple complex of Pattadakal. So it is in between Virupaksha temple, that is largest, and Gadganatha temple, and was earlier known as Vijayeshwara temple because of the king who created it. The earlier construction or initial, it was in Dravidian style, but however there are remarkable changes done in accordance with the different styles in subsequent years. That is what we say is excellent adaptability for structures. Now continuing more, Sangmeshwara temple we know is in Pattadakal. Then we have seen the location, then we have seen that there is another shrine or small temple, that is Chandrasekhara temple in the complexes. Now inscription at the temple, that is one of the wonderful thing of these temples. Most of the temples in Pattadakal has got inscriptions, and they have written the people who has donated, they have written, some of the temple have names of the person who has carved, or workers also they have mentioned the names, and it's really remarkable. And all these things that happened in between Badami Chalukyas between 543 to 757, but at most of the time it is more than 700, especially when we talk of the Sangmeshwara temple. We have found that after the excavation, that lot of remnants of the temples were there. They again were reconstructed, and either at same place or at some other place. Now these inscriptions found in this temple mentions that sponsor's name. As I told you, sponsor's name because they have donated the funds, and different centuries during those Hindu queens suggested the activity supported by the temple architecture and arts. So all their names are written here because the temple construction is not of 1 year, it's a long process. So whichever year it was going on, all their names are written. There is acknowledgement of their skill. Now it is incorporated with Vishnu Avtaras, then Varaha relief of Sangmeshwara, that is also there. Then that is Varaha is a Vishnu Avatar. The temple is not the largest among those of Pattadakal, but definitely it's one of a beautiful, and definitely it is one of a unique because it harbors many different things. Now let's see how the temple is constructed, that is the designing and the temporal architecture. The temple has got square layout with east facing sanctum, as with the most of the Shiva temples. It is facing east. The sanctum is surrounded by a curved pradakshina patha, that is circumambulatory path to have a rotation, lit by 3 carved windows. So that is for the ventilation. Inside the sanctum is Shivlingam. In front of the sanctum is a vestibule that is flanked on each side by a similar but smaller shrines. That already we have seen in some of the temples in the north, but here this was started at Pattadakal and subsequently it was taken by many other temples construction also. Now these shrines once containing carvings of the Ganesha and Durga, but they are now not there. Further east of the hall is the seated Nandi. The Iconology is a branch which can tell you, considering the surrounding, what deity was there, and that is one of a good part of studying iconology, that can tell you whether it was a Ganesha temple, whether it is a Durga temple, even though the deity is missing. Then if Nandi is there, it has to be Shiva, and if Shiva is there, Nandi has to be there, except that of Khidapur. The past festival is a mandapam within which are the 16 massive pillars set in a group of 4, which may have been added later. As I told you, the construction was a continuous process, and though the dynasties were changing, then also after winning also the opposite party like Rashtrakutas have continued to support these activities. Now Vimana, that is a Shikhara, in South Indian is called as Vimana. Now the Vimana superstructure above the temple is above the sanctum, above the Garbhagriha, is well preserved. The Vimana is a 2-tier structure with a square kota, that is Shikhara, and Kalasha. Kalasha North Indian, Stupi South Indian. The temple wall contained many Devakoshtas. Devakoshtas are the small places where there will be some of the deities. These Devakoshtas is a addition of around same time, around 600 or 700 onward. But you will see at many temples which were constructed by Chalukyas also and by Rashtrakutas also, the temples has got these Devakoshtas. Now the Devakoshta, they are actually niches carved with images of Vishnu, Shiva, or sometimes with other deities also. The temple is built on a raised mounted base, that is Pitha, with decorative phrases of elephant, yali and makaras. What is yali? It's an imaginary animal with all strong points of the strength, the speed and the elegance. So all these things they are imagined, and the yalis are there in most of the temples of the south. And there are also some mythical creatures. Above the kapota, that is the elevated platform, are the detailed phrases of Ganas. Now Ganas are of 2 types. If they are outside the temple, they are just Ganas. If they are around Shivas, again they are Shiva Ganas. Now Gana again indicate that it is a Shiva temple. Here they looks like playing or playful dwarfs. And you may have a feeling that they are taking weight of this temple, so they are in that way. but actually they are one of a important thing in the Ganas, and already we had discussed that what was the role of them to have them at the outer border of the temples. The parapet displays hara, that is various kind of strings in Hindu texts of various styles, including Karnakutas, that is the square. Square are the Karnakutas and oblong are the salas, which flow with the design below them. Now there are different type of architecture in which they have used a square designs or a oblong designs. So both are acceptable and both were existing at the same time. Now they were decorated with kudus, then Shaivism and Vaishnavism and Shaktism. What are these? These are the different powers. Then Shaktism, they were worshipping powers. Then Shaivism, that is they were worshipping Shiva, and Vaishnavism, they were worshipping Vishnu. So these were the type of groups. But however, the best part of this dynasty is they have combined them together, and they are saying we all are same, whether you worship Shiva, whether you worship powers, Shakti, or whether you worship Vishnu, we all are same. Then themes are presented in carvings of the temples. The Shiva iconography includes a dancing Nataraja, then Ardhanateshwara, that is half Shiva and half Parvati, is a combination of two powers. One thing is masculinity and femininity, the essential halves of each other. Then Shiva with Bringi, you will see at most of the places that he worshipped, and he remained only with the skeleton. Then you will also find there some demons and yogis. Lokulisha is also there. The Vaishnava iconography includes avatars of Vishnu at most of the places, and these are usually here in form of a Varaha lifting Bhudevi, that is Mother Earth. Interesting point is, though these temples are around 1500 years old, here they have shown earth at many places as circular, when people were not ready to believe it 1500 years back. So that was a great documentation of Varaha Avatara, that they have shown earth as a round. The excavation into the foundations of the ruined hall, that is archaeology department, when they had taken the excavation of the damaged hall in between 1969 to 1971, they have realized bricks, so that indicate the construction was further recent. So that is how we know in which year the temple was constructed, according to the material, according to the iconology, according to the types of adaptability. They tell the age of the temple also. This discovery led to proposal of Sangmeshwara had been built over an older temple. So there is renovation, what I told you. Even Rashtrakutas, after defeating Chalukyas, they have continued the construction of temples, and they have added into beauties of it. Now with this theoretical, let us go to the site actually and see the photographs and appreciate whatever we have seen. Now we are going to see now photographs, and after that we are going to see videography also. Now why we should see photographs? Because here we can freeze it, we can magnify it, we can see details of it, and we can get better ideas about this iconology and the architectural details. And it may also happen that if I have missed something, you may find them and you can point it out. We are most happy to correct it. Archaeology department has really maintained this premises well. It is absolutely clean, and when you look at it from the distance, you will find as though it is a portrait. There is a greenery, there are beautiful temples, well kept premises, and even believe it, whatever are done later, that is the roads and all, they are also made up of same red stones. And you will find really that archaeology department and Karnataka state has taken really efforts to give us this treasure. So we should thank them. and now our duty is to preserve it and give it to the next generation in as much original form as possible. And if we can find some remnants, usually they are kept in a museum, and if there are adequate remnants, then they reconstruct it. That archaeology department has done it many places. You can easily see the pictures of IIHOli Durga temple, how it was 150 years back and how it is today, and that will give us idea how excellent work, how excellent job archaeology department is doing, and how well Karnataka government is keeping them. Now there are a lot of additional facilities also here. If somebody want to take an electrical vehicle, they can take an electrical vehicle. If somebody has got disability, then they can wheelchair also. So all arrangements are done very well, so that you should see it, you should appreciate it, and you should get an excellent visual treat. Whatever has been described, everything is here. Now at the end of it, we are going to see a videographic presentation. Here intact Amalika, Kalasha and Amalika both are there in this temple. Yes.
Here you can see 3 perfect styles of chicken. You know how to identify which one is the North Indian, which one is the South Indian, and which one is the mixed. You know the Velaganatha, so that is the North Indian. In
Yes.
front of that shikara, you know the Shukunashi.
Yes.
Okay, and here no Shukunashi.
Yes.
So that is the South Indian.
Yes.
And one more difference, you know the North Indian style, we call it as a Rekha Nagara Shaili. You know
yeah.
the 4 corners, when it go to the top, those are bending.
Yes.
Like a curvilinear style.
Yes.
South Indian like a horizontal, like a step by step.
Step by step, right.
These are the difference in between the South Indian and the North Indian
Yes,
style.
yes.
Now there you can see the last one now, Virupaksha and Mallikarjuna. You know the shikara that is horizontal, like a step by, that is the South Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and in front of that shikara, you know the front project, Shukanashi. Our Chalukyan architecture, they mix the North Indian in the South India.
Yes.
So that is called Veshara. Veshara, that is one of the hybrid animal, male horse, female donkey, mule.
Yes.
Creature bolte hain.
I think best example is Belur and hybrid. These are the mixed culture.
In Kannada language, we call it as a Hesaragate.
Yeah.
By that name, we call it as a Veshara. Now we call it as a Chalukyan style. In this way, three perfect styles of Shikara you can see at Pattadakal. So the UNESCO recognized World Heritage Monument site.
Sure.
So that is one of the contribution to the art and architecture by Chalukya. So that is the speciality of our Chalukyan king. And there you can see in between the Sangmeshwara and Galaganatha, the Chandrasekhara temple. And the top of the temple, no Shikara, only the roof is there. So that is the new one, the restoration part. Which stone in the bad condition, the government replaced. Inside, the Shivlinga, and in front of that temple, there you can see the Shiva's vehicle, Nandi is there. In this way, each one temple have the Nandi, all temples dedicated to Shiva. And, one more word, the Gopura.
Gopur, yes.
But these are called Shikara.
Yes.
Gopura always top of the entrance, Mahadwara Baglo. So Shikara always the top of the Garbhagriha.
That's what.
So these
what is above the Garbhagriha is the Shikara. And Gopura is a different part of the temple itself.
Mahadwara Baglo.
It is actually entrance of the temple.
Yes, you are right. Yeah. So these are Shikara.
That we'll see the Chalukyan, not Chalukyan, Chola.
So that is the later development. The Hampi, Belur, Halibedu, Somanathpura, and then the Chamundeshwara.
They all have one Gopur. Yes, correct.
And there can see so many small temples. So these are like a blueprint models. For example, the engineer before he built the house, he prepared one plan elevation in the thermal plan. Here our Chalukyan architects, before they built the big temple, they do the models. These are like a plan elevation. Temple built by King Vijayaditya in 8th century. So this is incompleted, not finished. We don't know the particular reason why it became incompleted. Maybe the king's tour will be over or his treasury became empty. Maybe he is facing some problems like finances. And here the Shasana, inscription. This language, Sanskrit, and the script, old Kannada. According to this inscription, the Swasti Sri Vijayeswarana Natya Rani Achalabhe Kamba More. As a donation to build this temple, it means the first, second, third, the cost of 3 columns, how much it expenditure, she paid that amount. And inside, the Shivalinga. And here the Upagarbhagraha, and missing the Parvati and the Ganesha.
now the east side of Mandapa, an image of Bull Nandi is there. That is always there. If it is Shiva Mandir on a small plinth, the temple itself is built on a plinth that is little bit higher than the ground level. Now you will see 5 molding decorated with animals and floral motifs. In case you want to have another look, you can go back. There were many close-ups of all these things, but we are just avoiding repetition. Here you will find lot of temple which are in incomplete form and lot of temple which are open air, but the best experimentation laboratory you will find is at IIHOLI. Those who are aspiring to be expert in this field, for them it is a must. They should go. Now let's go inside the temple. All things we have described already, but let them have a closer look. This is a Garbhagriha. Typically it houses a lingam, and there is sub-shrines on either side of the Antarala. Antarala is a vestibule between Sabha Mandap and Sanctum. The best time to visit these temples are in the morning, because you will get fresh air and you will get some good vibrations and energetic feeling once you go to these temples in the morning, and there is less rush also. With that, we are coming to end of this small lecture. You have watched the video. Now, in case if you think that we have covered some less information, we have given you more information, then you thank us. And in case if there is a less information, then you should communicate to us. Thank you, goodbye, and take care.